Good morning. We'll call this fourth meeting of the House Standing Committee on Post-Secondary Education to order. Ask everyone to please silence your cell phones. As a reminder, there are no signs permitted in the committee rooms. If you wish to speak on one of the items on the agenda, there is a sign-up sheet back by the podium. Testimony is based on the discretion of the chair, based on time restraints and information already presented. Please call the roll.
Representative Banta,
Present.
Representative Bratcher, Representative Brown, Representative Decker, Representative Doan, Representative Grossel,
Here.
Representative Massaroni, Representative McCool, Representative Payne,
Here.
Representative Rourke,
Here.
Representative Stalker,
Present.
Representative Thompson,
Here.
Representative Truitt,
Here.
Representative Wilner, Vice Chair Baker, Chair Tipton.
Here. We do have a quorum to conduct business. I will note that we have some sickness this morning. Our committee staff administrator, Lauren Bush, is out today. Also, Vice Chair Baker is under the weather today, and he will not be here as well. So I will be taking care of his bill today on the floor. Any members have any introductions they want to make at this time? If not, I will turn the chair over to Representative Truitt, who will be chairing the meeting.
How you doing, brother? I'm the man. All right, Chairman Tipton, just for the record, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Representative James Tipton, House District 53.
I'm going to ask that you raise your right
Sure.
hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, there is a proposed substitute in members' packets. I'm going to need a motion on the
Mr.
substitute.
Chair, which bill are we starting with, just for clarification?
Let's do 276.
Very good.
Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
Got a motion from Massaroni.
All right. Motion and second. All right. Voice vote. Proposed substitute 1 is adopt. I guess we need to all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion passed. All right, Representative Tipton, go ahead and let's start off with House Bill 276.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. When I explain the sub, I'm essentially going to be explaining the bill. You may recall that in our first meeting back in February, we had an information meeting to discuss the performance-based funding model. And there's a lot of information that morning. But one component of that model is there is a work group that is established that was set up to meet every 3 years to make recommendations to the General Assembly about proposed changes to the model. I served on that work group in 2020, 2023, and also by an act of Senate Bill 191 of House Committee Amendment 7, we had a work group meeting last year for one specific purpose in 2024. So House Bill 276, as amended by the committee sub, will adjust the makeup of that work group. Currently, the president of CPE, along with our 9 post-secondary presidents, are on that work group. One representative from the House, one from the Senate, as well as one appointee from the governor, his designee, who currently has the state budget director, John Hicks, as his appointee. I have been the House representative since back in the first 2020 session. That meeting in 2020, Senator David Givens is the representative from the Senate. I've observed the makeup of this work group over the years, and as time has gone on, there are significant differences of opinion, particularly between our research universities and our comprehensive universities on the makeup of the work of the funding model. You may have seen there has been a couple of bills proposed this session. I think Representative Doan has a bill dealing with square footage. Representative White has filed a bill that would take the weights back to 1-to-1. So, needless to say, there's been a little tension on the work group. And one of the things that I have came to notice serving on the work group is, since all 9 presidents are on the work group, guess what? They make up a quorum of the work group. So they can't get together ahead of time and try to come up with compromises and proposals to present to a work group. So here is my recommendation for the makeup of the work group. The president of CPE would be a non-voting member and would serve as the chair of the work group. All 9 presidents are eight four-year institutions, as well as the president of KCTCS, will also be non-voting members on the work group. The voting members on the work group would consist of 3 members from the House, 3 members from the Senate, the state budget director, and 1 appointee for the governor or his designee. And I would hope when the governor makes that appointment that he would choose somebody that has experience in post-secondary education that's not affiliated with any of the universities. This is I thought about this a lot as being a member of the work group. I hope that this approach might help break a little bit of a deadlock we have on some of these opinions, and we can come up with some compromises. And the bottom line, our performance-based funding model should be about what's in the best interest of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. What we need to do to move the Commonwealth forward through this work group. I think we've seen some movement in degree production in a lot of areas. However, there are certain areas of our population, certain demographics that we need to do a lot more work in, particularly low income. We've raised the metric on that, adult learners, but this is just my opinion. I've actually talked to Senator Givens over in the Senate. He knows this is coming. I'm not sure exactly how the Senate would feel about this, but this is my proposal.
Motion on the bill.
All right, we got a motion. I've also got a question here.
Sure.
Okay. Representative Roarks.
Thank you, Chair. Rep. Tipton, could you answer, I can't help but notice with moving to 3 members of the Senate and 3 members of the House, but no partisan breakdown, that it moves the makeup of voting members from the post-secondary institutions to our legislature, which is inherently more political. I guess my question revolves around the fact that there is no political breakdown for how the appointments to the groups would be made between House and Senate. I'm wondering, would you be open to an amendment clarifying that at least 1 member appointed from each chamber be of the minority party?
If we were to do a breakdown based on the current makeup of the political parties, we'd have to have 4 for the Republican Party and 1 from the Democratic Party. The reason I didn't go that route is I was trying to keep it a more smaller work group, recognizing that I think it's important that we have more representation from the General Assembly because, frankly, we need more members of the General Assembly to understand that. That's certainly a thought we might look at, but that was the reason I didn't go that way. I have no problem if the President of the Senate or the Speaker of the House were to choose all minority members they thought they were the best members to serve on the work group.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, you may.
Well, I thank you for that. I do think that there is a piece here that does, allow for there to be more time for deliberation ahead of time and for a group to get together. I just worry still about shifting from the more academic leaning to more political folks who obviously are going to be fiercely protective of whatever institutions lie in their district. I know I'm pretty fiercely protective of the research institutions from my area. So that would be my concern there.
Trust me, Representative Rourke, it's still political on the current makeup of the work group. as each president, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their institution. So as models are presented, the first thing they do is, how's this model going to affect my institution? So, it is a very, and ultimately, this support group only makes recommendations. The working model is a product, the performance funding model is a product of the General Assembly, and it's up to the General Assembly to make final decisions. We did that in 2024. We made a change to the model, small change to the model in 2024. But I appreciate your comments.
All right, Representative Stalker.
Thank you so much. My question is in regards to making sure that I'm clear on the shift that is being proposed in this committee substitute. Am I under the correct impression that all university presidents now, all members of the committee also have a vote?
That is correct.
That is correct. So we're asking 9 presidents to, is that correct? There's total
There are 8 that are 4-year public institutions, and we have 1 president of the Kentucky Community College System, so there are 9.
That's the, yes. So KCTCS would have a seat.
That's correct.
And then we're asking for, out of the other 8 presidents, to only choose 2. One to represent our research institutions, and 1 for the comprehensive universities.
You are looking at the original House Bill 276. The committee sub changes that. The committee sub gives no voting members to any of the presidents. I think after talking to some of the presidents, there was a little bit of concern. There might be some friction from the presidents who weren't chosen. So the decision was made that all 9 presidents will serve on the working group as non-voting members. They will be there to offer advice, to offer their opinion, but by allowing them to be non-voting members, they can meet ahead of time and not be in violation of open meeting laws.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, because I realized, yes, I was confusing those 2 things. I guess then my question is how do the other 8 who did not already have a seat at the table, I'm excluding KCTCS, how do they feel about being in just an advisory role but not having the vote of a power when they're...
all 9 of them are currently voting members now. I have
Correct.
discussed this with the president. I have discussed this with CPE. And I have not received any pushback from any of the presidents on this that I've discussed this with.
Okay.
All right, seeing no other questions, we do have a motion on House Bill 276 as amended by proposed House Subcommittee 1, or Sub 1, by Representative Massaroni. I'll need a second. Second by Representative Payne.
Mr. Chair, I hesitate to comment since we have a motion, but one additional addition to the bill. The work group is currently scheduled to meet in 2026. I put in this bill that the work group will meet in 2025 because I believe time is of the essence of working out these differences between our research and comprehensive universities. And then I would have the work group meeting every 2 years instead of every 3 years, because I think it would be advantageous to have them meet prior to a budget session.
Thank you, Representative Tipton. So we need Landon. If you don't care, please
Yes.
take roll.
Yes. Yes, Chair.
All right. I've got one more question, Chairman Tibbs.
Sure.
Are you okay? One more question?
I think I can handle it.
Okay, one more question before we count.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. My other question was, why did the sub cut the appointments from the governor's office?
The governor previously only had 1 appointment. I had, in the original bill, I had like three. I think 3. I had a set of 3s. Just in feedback that I had received, it was suggested that we go with the state budget director as a permanent appointment and then give the governor 1 additional appointment like exists in current state law.
Thank you.
All right, Landon, let's take roll.
Representative Baker, Representative Banta,
Yes.
Representative Bratcher, Representative Brown,
Pass.
Representative Decker,
Yes.
Representative Doan,
Yes.
Representative Grossel,
Yes.
Representative Massaroni,
Yes.
Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative Payne,
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
May I briefly explain my vote?
Yes.
So I'm going to vote no today. I do agree that the frequency of the group needs to be modified. I just still have concerns about removing the votes from the 9 post-secondary institutions from the working group, especially when they're going to make recommendations to us and ultimately have the final say. And I feel like we're leaning more towards us as the legislature having more voice in the working group from the get-go, even if people can meet beforehand without meeting a quorum. So I'm a no today.
Representative Stalker.
I'm going to pass today. I do have some concerns that I would like to vet more through with the presidents of the universities. I'd like to just have some additional conversations with them because I do share some of the same concerns that Rep. Works just mentioned. That being said, I appreciate the intent of this bill, and I would like to remove any barriers that's causing hold up. I understand sometimes it takes a couple iterations for a bill before we can get something in a good place. So thank you so much.
Representative Thompson.
Yes.
Representative Truitt.
Yes.
Representative Wilner. Chair Tipton.
Chair votes yes.
House Bill 276 passes with expression of opinion that the same should pass with the committee substitute attached thereto. Thank you, Chairman Tipton. Do you want to go straight to 711?
Please do.
All right. So,
House Bill 711 is sponsored by Representative Baker, who could not be here today due to illness. I am the primary co-sponsor on this. We worked on this together. There is a committee sub, Mr. Chair.
all right. We need a motion on a motion. All right, Massaroni, a second. All right. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, Chairman Tipton, you may take off.
Mr. Chair, members, I don't have a lot of spare time, but sometimes in my spare time, I read KRS statutes. It is so enlightening. And I've worked on a lot of the education statutes, and post-secondary statutes are found in KRS 164 primarily, and 164A. As I'm reading through these statutes, I often read about this committee or this council, and I wondered to myself, I've never heard anything from them. So I posted a question to the Council for Post-Secondary Education, and I asked them to provide me the last copy of the minutes of when these groups met. And lo and behold, some of them haven't met in 20 years. So, House Bill 711, as amended by the committee sub, is an intent to clean up our statutes and make them more accurate. If you look on the last page of the bill, you will see that Section 12, there are several sections of statutes that are repealed. One of them is the Strategic Committee on Post-Secondary Education. That sounds like a great group, but they haven't met since 2005. The STEM Initiative Task Force was also passed in about that time period, and it's my understanding that they never met. And there was an initiative then that was never funded, so we're removing that portion of statute. The local P16 councils has kind of died away, and so we're removing that statute. Just trying to clean up the statutes is what we're trying to do here. There is corresponding language in the bill where these groups are mentioned. There are some places in this bill where it talks about initial appointments to boards. Those sections of statutes are stricken because they're no longer applied because they only applied to that one-time initiative. And that's pretty much one other thing that we did, I think, y'all have heard the term remedial education. We have stricken that definition from remedial education simply because in Kentucky, our public post-secondary institutions no longer offer remedial classes. When President Thompson took over at CPE, they started more of what I'll call transitional classes. A remedial class is a class that a student takes to catch up, but it does not count toward their credit. What they've been doing for several years now is our students are taking courses that count for credit, and they're getting the wraparound services to help them with that. So I felt like since we're no longer offering remedial education in Kentucky, it would be prudent to remove that from statute. That's pretty much the essence of what House Bill 711 is. And I hope to continue reading during the interim, and maybe we'll find some more things
Motion on the bill.
in next session. Be happy to entertain any questions.
All right, we do have a motion. Got a second? No. Okay, we do have a question by Representative Roarks.
Thank you. I did notice that there is a point in the bill where the Senate will confirm before service can begin on some of the appointees. Is that correct?
That was taken out in the committee sub.
Okay.
All right, seeing no more questions, Landon, please take roll.
Representative Baker, Representative Banta,
Yes.
Representative Bratcher, Representative Brown, Representative Decker,
Yes.
Representative Doan,
Aye.
Representative Grossel,
Yes.
Representative Massaroni, Representative McCool, Representative Payne,
Yes.
Representative Roarks,
Yes.
Representative Stalker,
Yes.
Representative Thompson,
Yes.
Representative Truitt,
Yes.
Representative Wilner, Chair Tipton.
Yes.
All right, House Bill 11 passes the expression of opinion that the same should pass with the committee substitute attached thereto. Chairman Tipton, thank you.
Thank you now. Okay, next on our agenda, we have some administrative regulations that are here, especially for our new members. And as a reminder, agencies submit administrative recommendations. They go through the Administration Regulations Subcommittee. From there, they go to the Committee of Record. During the interim, this would come to an interim joint committee, but since we're not in the interim, it will have to be heard by the committee in the House as well as the Senate. Get my list here. I think all these are coming from the Council on Post-Secondary Education. We do not necessarily approve these, but if there are questions, we can ask them. We can ask for an amendment, or we can have a motion to find them deficient. Any members have any questions? Okay, Representative Massaroni, go ahead. Is your microphone on? I'm sorry.
Yes. Can we get the 130 rate explained a little bit? The purpose and
Please.
intent?
We have somebody from CPE here. For Travis. Please introduce yourself for the record, Travis.
Sure. Travis Powell, Senior Vice President, General Counsel for the Council on Post-Secondary Education.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please proceed. The question was about the KAR 002-130.
Sure.
Explain it a little bit, please.
Sure. So KRS, 13 KAR 130 is the administrative regulation for the community and technical college system funding model. So we have two regulations, two performance funding pools, one for the four-year institutions and one for the community and technical college system. So 130 is the community and technical college system regulation. It's been in place since 2016. Each year that the performance funding work group that Representative Tipton mentioned earlier in his bill has met, there has been a change to the performance funding model, both impacting the four-year funding model and the two-year funding model. So in the last session, Senate Bill 191 made changes to both models, and this captures the changes, the amendments to the regulation capture the changes from Senate Bill 191. And I can go into specifics on what those changes are if you like, or...
Just the community needs index, explain, that was added in there, what
Yeah,
that
so-
entails.
Right. In the KCTCS model, they reallocated an equity adjustment that they had between the institutions of 10% to an allocation based on a community needs index, which takes into account a regional poverty, unemployment, and labor participation for all the different 16 colleges, just to sort of reallocate to account for the needs of the particular communities they serve. You know, obviously our community technical colleges are very engrossed in their particular communities, and they wanted to make sure that that 10% of the funding would help go towards funding some of those institutions that have more needs in their community to make that adjustment. You're welcome.
Any members have any other questions about any of the administrative regulations that are proposed? Okay, if not, this item of business is over. That is all we have on the agenda for today. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Have a motion, have a second. Have a second? Okay, Representative Payne, I thought everybody wanted to stay here for a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. We are adjourned.